Okay, well, this has been over a day. Let me see, look at the time here, almost 1 o'clock, that's Eastern time. It's been about a day and 4 hours since maybe a day and 6 hours since I poured this water. And basically what I did was I had a gallon full of water, and I had a couple of small bottles full of water, and when I drank the bottles, I opened the gallon and then filled the bottles. And when I filled the bottles, I filled them all the way up to the very, very top with no air bubble. And I did that so that it would save on the pH and ORP. So I'm going to test this, and this will, my guess, will be a better pH and ORP than the bottle that is has a large air gap here with the fact that the gallon jug was opened and not completely used. So I'm going to go ahead and pour that water over here. We'll compare the two. They're the same, from the very same original. Actually, this water here was poured from this gallon jug sometime in the middle of the night last night. And so it is the same exact source water. Okay, well, ORP wise, we did lose some. This started out at about a negative 650 or negative 700, I think it was, and now it's a negative 310. So it did lose quite a bit of ORP. It did lose pH, but relatively that's still a good pH, 8.9. It's actually pretty good water. I would suggest it. It's very, very good readings. 8.9 with a negative 310 is really marvelous, really. All right, and actually, just before I switch this over, it actually is 9.3 pH. So it did settle down a little bit, or I should say settle up. Wait a minute, hold on. This is still changing a little bit. Negative 320 with a 9.5 pH. Okay, it's not bad. That's actually very good water. And then this is the water that was in the gallon jug, and demonstrating that if you pour a gallon jug of water and then you start using it, your gallon jug's going to have a bigger and bigger and bigger air gap for your ORP and pH to be lost. And I'm just curious to see how much was lost, because it's probably been maybe 10 hours since I poured a couple of bottles out of that gallon jug. And this is actually pretty good. The pH looks actually 10.1. It looks a little higher than I was expecting, but maybe it's just settled down. Maybe that pH has settled down. The ORP is less, so you have the biggest thing that you're going to lose is your ORP, so negative 228. But let me take a look once more at this pH probe. I'm going to just put my ORP meter away here. So that seems pretty conclusive on the ORP, but the pH, it didn't make sense for this one to be higher than the other one. 10.2 is what the gallon jug reading is. And I just want to see if maybe maybe the actual meter itself just needed some more adjustment time. And I think that's true, because we're seeing a 10.4 now for the pH over here. So the pH pretty much was retained in its entirety, and on this smaller bottle filled to the very brim. And just the fact of opening a jug and pouring smaller bottles with that bigger jug is a great idea, because you're going to save your ORP then, get a much better ORP reading.